Elli, please.
Thank you very much, Carol. Long name of the initiative, long name of myself. So I'm here standing on behalf of the Urban Transition Mission Center, an EU-funded project under Horizon Europe. And we are here to support the Urban Transition Mission, one of the 7 missions of Mission Innovation, but Laura Hetel will tell us more about this. So we're really thankful for you to be here, to have skipped the World Urban Forum and honored us to be here at our regional event here. And for those who came, especially for the regional event, thank you very much. And yeah, I just wanted to say that this day, as Carol said, it is our 2nd regional event. Our first regional event was targeting the Mediterranean region in Barcelona last year. So it was a first step to collaborate with urban actors and ministries and mayors in this region. But especially this time we wanted to target the African region, which is very, very important for the Urban Transition Mission. And we want to involve as many cities and urban actors as possible in the future. So that is the first step and the first try to start building trust and to get to know each other and to see what we can do in the future together. So there will be enough of time for discussions and also for networking. So please feel free to introduce to each other. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Elli. And now to keep on this adventure that we've traced, let me please introduce you Laura Hetel, the Climate Neutral and Smart Cities Mission from the Directorate General of Research and Innovation from the European Commission, who will give us a bit more of background on what to expect from this day. Please, Laura, we welcome you to take the floor. And
good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. I think we are all still under the influence of the many meetings and discussions that we had at the World Urban Forum. And we have met a lot of people from cities. We have met mayors. We have met people from their teams. We have met urban practitioners. And although we spoke many languages, I think it is very apparent that everybody deals at the core with the same issues, with problems linked to implementation, where we still work very much across a traditional approach, which is very sectoral, right? Still working at the project level, but not necessarily linking the project. So we reach that level of city transformation that we all try to achieve. We very much work in fragmentation still. I heard many cities mentioning governance as a huge problem, linking the local level, for instance, and gathering the necessary support at the national level. I think a lot of cities were saying we are taking on a lot of the commitments that nations have taken, for instance, under the Paris Agreement, and we are delivering on those commitments. So there's a lot of responsibility that is on us, but they feel that the support needed to achieve those goals, maybe it's not trickling down from national levels the way it should be. And then, of course, there's the thorny issue of finance, because a dream is a dream if the resources to implement it are not there. And unfortunately, we see a lot of ambitions. Nobody can deny the cities have the ambition to take action. A testimony to that is the many action plan, whether they are about mitigation, adaptation, or both, that many city halls have. But in many cases, those plans cannot be implemented because the finance and the regulatory support, let's say, that's needed for those plans to become reality just doesn't materialize. So tying that all together, this is why we are here. We will talk a bit about the Urban Transitions Mission. There's a lot of discussion, and you probably heard it at the WOOF, right? How we should innovate the way we implement things, innovate our governance levels, innovate financial tools, and so on. And we wholeheartedly agree with that. We need to change our system. But I bet that you, as mayors, as urban practitioners, as representatives of the private sector, are more concerned about what you can do now, right? I see a lot of nodding, so I will take that as a yes. So the Urban Transitions Mission is about meeting the supply that is out there. There is a lot of funding, there is a lot of expertise, there is a lot of technical support, and mixing that supply and bringing it also to the side of the demand. So bringing you at the table, the people who are implementing things at the local level, extracting your needs, understanding your challenges, and then matching you, not in 3 years, not in 10 years, but now with partners that can respond to that need. So the mission is about really brokering solutions for you now, while also understanding that in the medium term, in the long term, there are a lot of things that needs to change structurally. But the important thing is to offer support to cities now. The way we do that through the Urban Transitions Mission, we work with two distinct groups that very much come together. First of all, we go to the cities themselves. We are not speaking for cities. We are speaking with cities, and we let cities speak in their own words. We created this global cohort of cities. We are at 100 cities now throughout the world. We're very proud that we have quite of a symmetrical distribution, which was not by design, I should say, but I think we solicited symmetrical interest from countries in the north, and countries in the south. We are a bit spread all over the globe, which is a very good thing. But we are creating this pool of cities that communicate with each other. We believe strongly that cities learn best from other cities. But we are also there to mediate a bit the discussion, and we aim to enlarge that circle to 300 cities by 2030. And this is very much based on a principle that when times are hard, or you need an advice, or you need a solution, you call a friend, right? It's a very human thing to do. And I think it's one of the strengths of the city administrations, that they are always open to share not just the tourist brochure of a city, right? Things that are going well and so on. Once you bring cities together, they really bring the conversation where it should be. They bring it to the challenges. If they had a success, they present you not just the end point, but the long and sometimes difficult road that led to that success. They tell you that it's not a straight line, that they took a bit of zigzagging, maybe they took a few steps back before they could leap forward. And I think more than anything, this is the most encouraging part when I see the interactions between the 100 cities that we work with. No city is just a leading city in everything, and the other city is a follower city in everything. I think the situation gets reversed depending if you talk on transport, energy, waste management, built environment, and so on. There's always something to learn from one another. So this is one group and one of our strengths, the cities that we have together and the conversations that we start, that immediate helpline, right, in which you call a friend. And the second part of the Urban Transitions Mission is the Global Innovation Alliance. And I talked to you about our goal to broker solutions for you now, while also, of course, being mindful of the things we need to change and innovate in our approaches. But inside this alliance, I would highlight first the three co-leads of the initiative. The first one is the European Commission, which I represent today. We in Europe ourselves have a mission for climate neutral and smart cities. We have 100 cities that are working towards the goal of becoming climate neutral by 2030, which is quite ambitious, right? Many of them will not make it. They will be there in 32. They will be there in 35. That's fine with us. We wanted to give them something really ambitious to aspire to, because again, another human thing is to say, well, if I have to do it by 2040, you know, I might wait 3 or 4 years. It just seems a bit distant. 2030 is really a deadline that seems a bit around the corner. So we will maybe not have 100 climate neutral cities by then, but if we have 10 or 20 or 30, that would be a huge achievement and would provide a model for others. So us as the first partner, then the formidable network of the Global Covenant of Mayors. They work with 13,000, is it now more? 13,000 plus cities from around the world. And one thing you will know if you look a bit at the statistics that they provide is that 70% of those cities, and it's a fascinating number, 70% of those cities have climate targets or climate ambitions that are more advanced than those of the national governments. And again, I get back to the idea in which a lot of responsibility is placed on cities. But, you know, if with great power comes great responsibility, right? With great responsibility, we should also have great power. So the idea is to empower you. And then the third co-lead of this initiative is the joint partnership initiative Urban Europe. And you will hear from some of their representatives here today, because we also think that the research and innovation angle of the transition is very important. And you will hear more about how they deliver on actions like that for cities. Then we have a few countries that have jumped on board, because just by talking to you during the coffee break, everybody mentions the national level, right? So on behalf of cities, we are lobbying the national level. The partners there are, for now, India, we have Brazil, we have Spain, we have Austria also involved, and we hope to grow that membership in the months and years to come. Then we have a host of international organizations. Some of them are here, such as ECLAI. They're in the audience. Don't forget to reach out to them and then start the conversation. The World Economic Forum, the UNFCCC Global Innovation Hub, the European Network of Living Labs, and so on. It's a very long list. I'm sure they will show up in a slide. And very importantly, we are bringing in the private sector. We know there's no one single actor that can fund the transition and the things that need to change in your city, and that the support, the expertise, the finance will have to come from many sources. So my invitation for you today is to start from that place of mind in which we ask to ourselves, what can we achieve together now and today with the instruments and with the knowledge that we already have in place, leveraging and using the formidable power, I would say, of 100 cities coming together under the Urban Transitions Mission. If your city is not a member yet, I would encourage you to consider at least this initiative and maybe have your city join inside the network. As I said, we will grow to 300 cities by 2030. And I very much look forward to the discussions in the panels, but also to the breaks, so we can go a bit more in depth into all these activities. Thank you very much again for being here today and for coming in such a varied configuration. And this is something that you will probably discover for those of you who arrived just as the event was starting. You will discover this during the presentations and during the coffee break. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Laura, for this invitation, for an alliance and getting together all the different stakeholders here, but also this helpline of cities, how we can really communicate between cities to support our work. And this needed innovation, as you mentioned, on multi-level governance, on the regulatory frameworks, but especially in finance and bringing the private sector. I think those are really, really, really important ideas that we want to bring together today. To speak a little bit more about that and to start a little bit the end of the introduction, I would like to welcome Ayman from the delegation of the European Union to Egypt from the European Commission. Ayman, welcome.
Thank you. I believe I had prepared like a couple of pages to explain what we're doing and how we could integrate this, but I think Laura said it all, so I'll try to improvise quickly and build on what she elaborately said. And I come from the development arm in the Commission, and we usually have internal a lot of discussions how to integrate research and innovation with the development finance that we are providing. And as Laura mentioned, there are lots of funding opportunities, especially now with the European Fund for Sustainable Development, guarantees, risk sharing, risk taking, a lot of programs. I'm sure if you just Google it, find a lot of programs that initially are addressing cities and supporting financing to cities to have more sustainable and more achieving the net zero goals. But when you see the level of transaction, the number of transactions implemented on ground, it's very little. I attended a workshop yesterday where I think the percentage of cities that have access to finance or eligible to finance is very limited. And I think the problem is not because the financial situation or eligibility criteria, but it's in the access of information, because most of the tools itself developed for finance are usually more targeting or more eligible at a national level, while working at city level or subnational level is always a challenge. And I think that's why such platforms are key, because first of all, it will provide needed information, hopefully, about the tools and how to bring cities and how to make cities more eligible and more comfortable. I'm saying not eligible, more comfortable to access such finance, because there's an element of trust and comfortability to be able to access and to be engaged in such type of finance, where usually it's led to the national governments, not to the cities. So this is a bit of a mindset that needs to change, and this is part of which I hope the program and the platform could bring. The second thing is also working with the private sector. I'll tell you in the case we have in Egypt that although we are trying to develop lots of projects at cities, and we have been engaged with other European financing institutions like EBRD to develop master plan for cities, for green cities. The challenge is in the perception to have an inclusive platform where the private sector, MDPs and the cities come together to set the priorities and to see what are the favorable financing tools, because the general perception is that the private sector are here to only make profit, which is correct that they need to make profit, but a lot they have interest in the development and building a conducive environment. So having a platform or a dialogue while building the initiatives is really key. And I think this could be the platform could play an important role for that, and giving that different scales of finance through startups, SMEs, and building opportunities is really needed. Finally, the one point just to let you that peer-to-peer cooperation. Laura said that there is no mentor and a mentee direct relationship between cities, and this is absolutely true. Some cities might be more advanced in certain sector based on their experience. Others definitely will be more advanced in other things, and especially even localized solutions, because a certain city, and we've seen it, a lot of discussions here in it's historically called Global South, is foreseeing that the flow of knowledge comes from north to south only. While during the recent time, we've seen that actually it goes both ways, and certain experiences in several sectors, I can talk a lot about water and agriculture, where actually the experience localized in the Global South are now needed, especially now Europe is facing a more wave of drought, where here in this region, experience on dealing with that are already embedded in the history. So there's a lot of experience in having a platform for this dialogue would really would be crucial, and I would be interested to hear from you, hopefully during the breaks, how we can build this alliance and how to integrate your ideas and your suggestions in what we traditionally do and our future programming. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayman, for promoting this dialogue that it's very much needed, and also South and North cooperation, but also South and South cooperation, which is very interesting for the different realities that we face. To keep discussing these challenges, and also I would like to add a little bit on what you said at the beginning on the access to the information, also the translation. So we're talking about a diverse cohort of cities working throughout the globe, and the need to translate this information to access finance in different languages as well. So many interesting things that we will discuss today. And to kick off and show you a little bit of these services, also including translation, I think we will go for the next slide, please. For the first session, the Urban Transition Mission and the portal, the center, the community portal, working to provide many tools and many services that can help this dialogue and these exchanges and these alliances happen. So for this, I will welcome the moderator of this session, Andrada Barata, Head of Communication at the European Network of Living Labs. Please, Andrada, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, my talk today, apart from running around, will be quite short. It is my honor to present my two colleagues who I think you can already come here. Elli, you met her already. Elli Tzatzanis-Stepanovic, our dear leader in the project, and my colleague Gianni Nardone from LKI, who is dealing with the development of our platform. And I will take a seat with them right now, and I will let them start the discussion, and then let's see how we proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrada. Before I go into the details of the platform, and as it was mentioned, it might and could be a very good tool and community engagement platform for all of us. I just wanted to highlight a little bit what we did so far and what the center we will do in 1 year still to go. So in October, we had, together with the Urban Transition Mission, we had the Urban Innovation Summit. And I just want to conclude and let you know what we agreed there and what I think we were more than 130 people there, many mayors from all over the world. So many sessions. It was 2 days. We had our annual conference at the second day. So what was discussed there is that cities are the structures and are the systems that can reach and empower the people that need to implement all the urban transition solutions and hold these things in their hands, and these tools and solutions. So cities are the best means of doing this, and we need to collaborate. A second point was that cities are also the test beds of these solutions and innovations, right? So we don't have much time. We are under pressure, so we need to experiment, we need to fail, we need to rearrange our things, we need to adapt these tools, and we need to use them individually as they are needed in the context, in the local context. So this was also a discussion point, and also it was mentioned the funding. The funding is there for research and innovation, for projects, but direct funding for cities is very difficult to reach, to find. So we need more probably blended funding. Several actors being there, so it is also a challenge there to find the right investors, funders on private and public sector. And we were also happy to be participating now at the World Urban Forum, as Laura already mentioned, and we were there as of Monday with our booth and involved in several sessions. So there also the discussions were around building trust, trying to start and initiate collaborations with new actors, holistically working, maybe not the usual suspects, having all the stakeholders on board. So this is important, not to work in silos, but work all together in whichever sector it is. It needs to be a common and joint solution. Joining forces, yes, and also long-term collaboration, right? Sustainable, not projects that are lasting for 2 or 3 years and then the results land somewhere. Having long-term visions and long-term collaborations, and using all the results, learnings that we have gathered for future collaborations, adapting them and using them. So this is a little bit of what we did recently. And yeah, I said we have 2 years now that we were working together. And on the next slide, you will see who we are. So as I said at the beginning, we are supporting the Urban Transition Mission. So the project was created and funded for this purpose. We are connected very, very closely and collaborating with Net Zero Cities, the European pendant to the global transition mission. And we are 7 partners. It's 6 logos, but we're 7 partners. Coordinated by my organization, the Austrian Research Promotion Agency, FFG in Vienna. We have the partners, the European Network of Living Labs, Andrada Barata is representing. We have ENoLL, the World Secretariat, and also the Urban Secretariat, represented today by Kanak Bokan over there. Eurocities presented by Karen, our chair today. LGI represented by Gianni Nardone, and yes, and the Global Covenant of Mayors represented by Nicola Iezza here. So we're 7 partners. We're really internationally working and having international networks to support the Urban Transitions Mission in providing the platform that is coming now into discussion, gathering and collecting funding sources, funding solutions, peer-to-peer learning, providing capacity building, community engagement online. You will see it later. So we are the Urban Transition Mission, as Laura said, 100 cities. I think officially it is 90. Some of them are now in the process of getting into the family of the cities. So as you will see, and as you see in Africa, we have 6, and I wrote them down not to forget the city. We have 2 cities in Morocco now involved in the cohort. We have Casablanca and Chefchaouen. In Tunisia, we have Sisep Diriat. I hope it's pronounced correctly. On the Ivory Coast, we have the city of Cocody. In Ghana, we have the city of Accra, and in Mozambique, Quelimane. So some of them are represented here today, and will speak and show their best practices in the city panel. But this is, you see, there is a room for progress and room of attracting more and more cities in Africa. So the community platform, finally, what does it offer? It offers funding assistance. We have a global funding watch, which is listing global funding sources, which can be filtered, which can be searched, looked for, which stakeholders, which beneficiaries it is attracting. So you can have a whole list going through it and having a look what is possible, what is there maybe for your cities to be financed. The finance toolkit, there are several other tools that are involved, but I will not go into detail because we will see that. Gianni will go into detail. We'll just present the overview. The knowledge repository, latest documents, surveys, videos, city results presented in city portraits, in city interviews are there. You can have a look at them and see what is offered. So we're really gathering from different thematic sectors these recent reports and surveys and learnings results for you in our database. The third part, where this conference is also part, is the capacity building and exchange. We have groups of exchange on the platform. We will create the group for African cities in the platform. I will be inviting all of you to join there. So having also all of us in this group for sustainable and long-term collaboration and exchange and of ideas and contact. But also in this capacity building and exchange, we have virtual webinars and events. We have a monthly virtual coffee, as we call it, in also again different thematic sectors. So it's for you there for free, and moderated learning as well. Individually, maybe again, slide before maybe. Sorry, I think the dissemination and awareness. Events that I also mentioned already, but the newsletter, you can also register to our newsletter. The next slide, please. Yes, just one example, we can go out into detail. We have elaborated together with the Urban Transition Mission colleagues the framework. So this framework, it can be accessed step by step. It, let's say, reflects a journey of a city and behind these steps, there are all the documents and all the resources that are in the platform. So you can go also through a let's say a project pipeline or a pathway through the knowledge that is elaborated in and summarized in our platform. So a step-by-step guide, so to say, for cities connected with resources and all the tools that are behind. And on the next slide, please. Just some examples. The funding assistance that I already mentioned, the Finance and Funding Help Desk. We have Nicola Jetzer from JCOM being behind this funding help desk. So if there are questions and really things that are not clear, you want to know, and we have one person behind it which can give assistance, guide you a little bit, and provide the solutions that you need. In the Global Funding Watch that I mentioned, the opportunities global-wide, which sources are there, which funders are there, investors that offer funding for cities. Finance and knowledge sessions, also in online, addressing also the finance and funding sector and opportunities. And on the next slide, the knowledge repository that I have been mentioned. So you are also invited. You can also, when you register to the platform, upload your reports, your project results, your learnings in whichever way. Is it a survey? Is it a report? Is it a policy paper? You're free there to upload your things and to promote your results and your work. As is mentioned, we have guides, their reports, articles, event recordings, I have already mentioned. But one service that we offer is also for cities to collaborate with you and elaborate these sources, so to say, written case studies if you want to. We offer also promotional videos, which we will be also offering today during the day. So together, elaborating these sources and these results and putting them in the knowledge repository, and interviews as well. And the next slide, short examples of our capacity building activities, so website or webinars online, peer-to-peer exchanges that have been mentioned, the trainings, virtual coffees every month, some conferences. So very many sources which you can access also now after the events. All the recordings are on the platform. You can, whenever you have time, look at them, listen through them. And on the next slide, I want to mention the 7 thematic groups that are there. So you can enter these community groups if you want to be in a specific sector. And the virtual coffees are also reflecting. So every month we have this focus, and I will get to the next virtual coffees in one of the next slides, please. Yes, the newsletter I mentioned, we have event calendar, and we'll more and more want to work with partnerships, build partnerships with other initiatives. So join forces and collaborate in the future with other initiatives. And in events, in different activities, in webinars. We started to promote each other's results with other initiatives. And on the next slide, I show you what the upcoming activities are. You see the picture of our last virtual coffee in sustainable energy, working together with different mayors and different other initiatives. What is important this month on the 14th, we have our community platform discovery tour. So if you are new to the platform and want to learn a little bit how to navigate it, what are the features, what are the tools that are there, it's a good occasion to be there online and to learn a little bit from the experts how to navigate the platform. And the virtual coffee in November. The virtual coffee in November on the 20th will be on the topic of governance, multi-level governance, governance as such, what is important for cities. And in December, 11th of December, about data and data management. And we will announce soon what is going to come in 2025. And on the next slide is the QR code to the platform. And some videos also you can use to be which are guiding through the platform as well. So whenever you have time, go to it if you don't have time for the virtual for the live and virtual guiding tool. I think this was my last slide. Is that true? I think a thank you was here. Yes. We are here, whatever. I mean, it's a lot, and it needs to be just highlighted. But if you have specific questions to one of the tools, just let us know. We're here today also to explain them. So I think this was from my part, and we'll go into a little bit of in depth to the platform still.
Thank you so much, Elli. Nice to meet you all. Very happy to meet you today. I am Gianni from France. I am representing the IT team that has developed this web application or web platform. And so for the rest of my presentation, I will go just there at my computer. So sorry for those who are online, you won't see my face. Yeah, you should see the screen correctly now.
Can you hear me? What I forgot to say is that we also need your feedback to the platform. So it is not something that is now finished and finalized and fixed. So every feedback, every idea is welcome from your side, which it is for you there to use it. So every hint, every problem that is faced, please let us know that we're able to fix it. So
sure. Well, maybe let me start by asking you a question. Who raise your hand if you already have an account on the platform? Of course I do. Of course. So then for those who hasn't, if you haven't scanned the QR code before, I'm gonna re-display another one and explain you sure. When you will reach out to the platform, so you will have to register it in like 5 steps. It takes just 2 minutes. You enter your email address. You tell us who you represent. So basically, the platform is made. Everybody can access the platform, but it's mainly for cities, of course, but also for all urban actors. So by that I mean the community of practice or the private actors. Very important. And so then you will receive just a code on your phone. This is just for security reason, and it takes just 2 minutes. And then you will reach out to this page. This is the landing page of the platform. As you can see, it's based on a kind of social media approach. So I'm used to explain the platform as a mix between Microsoft Teams and LinkedIn. So what we do is allowing collaboration between all actors, but also sharing of knowledge and everything that it's already explained. I'm not going to repeat exactly the same. But so now I'm just going to take a few minutes to show you the main features of the platform. So by clicking on the menu here, you will access all the different features. Let me show you this one is the first one. So before, Elli has showed you has talked to you about the different clusters. So they are here listed. So we've got a group for finance, for governance, for cityscapes and data and scenarios, etc. So we've got here 8 cluster groups on different topics. And for each of them, you can exchange with people that are working, especially in this field of expertise, and share documents. Also organize events dedicated for this team. Next features, the events. So quite easy. Here you will access a list of events that we organize, such as you can find here today event, but also external events. So sometimes we are republishing events that might be interesting for you, but you can also use the platform to create your own events. So if you want to share a webinar that you are organizing for your partners, also other urban actors with other cities or whatever, you can create an event directly from the platform by clicking here on create an event. And you will just have to enter, if you have like a Zoom link or Teams, you can, but you can also use an embedded system. So you can directly use the platform to make calls. Yeah, so this is typically like the template of an event page where you can see the list of participants, the details, and into an event page, we also share the files. So you can share your own files, create folders, etc. And it's very useful to share the presentation and the recordings of the events. Now, Funding Watch, very important part. So this is a tool we took almost 2 years to develop. It was very difficult because basically what we do is being connected to something like 1,000 source of fundings and calls everywhere in the world, and it's daily updated. So every day we update this database, and you can check the latest calls. For instance, if I write here energy, yeah, so here you will find the latest calls regarding energies with the most important, so like what kind of grant is it, the statute, the deadline, what are the countries represented. I will let you discover the tool. It's under continuous development, but I think that this tool will be more and more useful in the future, and I highly encourage you to discover it. We've got also this finance and funding help desk. So here you can basically make a request. Nicola will be there for helping you for anything. So you just have to click here and start a query. Now, a few words about the knowledge repository. This is also a very important feature. So here we have shared a lot of resources. That can be PDF, articles, videos, whatever. It's a lot of different resources that are filtered according to this list of tags here. And we also propose all the resources that have been created by Net Zero Cities project. So as a reminder, Net Zero Cities project is the European funded project that helps these more than 100 cities to get neutral by 2030. Next picture. Yeah, so here is the list of UTM cities here. And I think that might be the end of my presentation. I don't want to give more details and boring IT stuff, but if you have any question, you can talk to me today. I'll be here all day, but also reach out to me directly on the chat. So here we have a chat on the platform, and you can create a conversation. My name is Gianni, and yeah, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you both for your presentation, and because I don't want to take too much time, I think you have now an idea what we are doing with the project and how we can support you. And I think it's more important to try to go to the next sessions where we also learn from you here. But I do have a question, and maybe it's good to make it clear, because we are not doing this event for the region of Africa just for the sake of it. We are trying to push it forward, and I would like to ask both of you, how is actually the project supporting the transformation in the region of Africa?
I think it was mentioned in the keynotes that the collaboration and the knowledge, there are so many solutions and knowledge there. It's just having access to it, right? And we're all busy, and who is going to screen, I don't know, Google and whichever sources there are to find something. So it's now about urban transitions. The platform is there. It is reaching out to a global audience, so we can really use this and be empowered and enabled by it to contribute on the one side from your side, yeah, because this platform will not live if you are not active, right? If you are not getting into it from time to time, posting something interesting, sharing your knowledge. I mean, you cannot expect that there will be everything when you don't contribute. We also need your results from Africa, your case studies, your learnings, your needs, your challenges, that other cities can learn, and vice versa. Yeah, you will be going there and looking for other cities and other solutions that you might be able to implement in your context. So it is really a community platform with different tools, and we will see in the future which of those will be used and most useful. But Gianni said, I also think that the funding watch will be something that will be needed, because it can be updated and it can be a good source for cities to look into it and to find funding. But also, I do think that the communities and the seven, maybe there will be in the future more. I mean, we don't have housing, we don't have other sectors that we have. This is now the first 7 priorities that we have from the Urban Transition Mission. But I think there, the communities, if you are active, you will be able to reach out to global wide, to cities everywhere in the world, and make connections, make friends, as Laura said, make contacts there and exchange. So it is really up to us how we will use it. It is there. We put a lot of effort and money into it, and we hope that it is sustainable and will be there for many years, because the transition will last many years.
Yeah, may I just add? Yeah. Most of the time, I feel that, I mean, we have a lot of knowledge everywhere, a lot of public scientific resources available and stuff, but we try to go straight to the point and offer what is very useful, because we are not all scientifics. So that's most of the resources you will find on the knowledge repository. For instance, if I take the case of the case studies, we will find some case studies that we have developed, and there are concrete examples of initiatives that cities have implemented. And yeah, so that's something, I guess, very interesting for each of you.
Okay, actually, I think that was my only question, and the most relevant one. Thank you both for this. And now, Carol, will you take over? Thank you.